It's me, Zenobia Darling. You're listening to #RockstarLife, the Coffee Break Podcast. Let's go. Where the hell's my cold brew at?
It's like, I'm not used to doing this in the morning, so I'm like, what planet am I on?
Yeah, no, I feel
Yeah, so, all right, what's up, guys? It's me, Zenobia Darling. Happy Halloween, my little darlings. I'm here actually in the Paranormal Realm, Beyond the Lore, my art exhibition. We're at the morning opening reception, the day before the film premiere of Ethereal Anarchy, that's tomorrow, the world premiere. Mm-hmm. I'm here with Ashley Reinhardt. She is a photographer, artist. Do you want to...
Hi, I'm Ashley Reinhardt. I am one of the photographers in the show, and thank you so much for inviting me on the podcast. This is really exciting.
Is this your first time podcasting?
This is my first ever time on a podcast. I've never been on one before.
This is gonna be fun.
Yeah.
So, can we talk a little bit about your practice? What is your artistic practice with? Because you're a photographer and you're in the show specifically with your photographs with Forest Haven. So I've talked about Forest Haven many times on this podcast.
Yes.
So it's one of those things where I'm like, it's on my bucket list. You've actually been there, photographed it.
Yes.
So like, what inspires you to photograph these places? What inspires you with photography?
Oh my goodness, that's such a loaded question. I would say what inspires me is that I really love things that people don't normally get to see on their day-to-day.
Yeah.
And I love the emotion and the intent behind the approach to taking photos. Mm-hmm. I don't normally... My practice when I was 19 is much different from my practice now.
Yeah.
I would say my practice now is much more intentional. And my practice when I was 19, it was very I want these dark, almost spooky photos that aren't really that in my head at the time. It wasn't that spooky, but I wanted to share an experience that I guess I was suppressing for a long time. Long story short, maybe I should, I don't know, should I say this on the podcast?
I mean, it's up to you. It's up to you. You do whatever you want.
Okay, so I had a really hard loss before I entered college, and my coping to that was photographing things that were more dark, and I guess because I was feeling that way at the time.
Well, you were using it to process grief and stuff like that, which I think is because you'll see it in the film premiere, but something very similar like that happened, and I don't know, the paranormal's healing with stuff like that. So.
Yeah. So I guess long story short, I had a lot of disabilities growing up, and I had a helper. So and that means I had pretty much a personal assistant kind of at all times, and she passed away really tragically.
Ooh.
And it was really hard on me in high school. So I carried that when I went to college. So for me, I felt like I was trying to find her wherever I went. And I was trying to put those together.
Were you trying to photograph her in the...
Yeah, or I was trying to find her.
I love that, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I was trying to find her. And this wasn't... These photos weren't taken in any malice or anything. It was more of a walk through because I wanted what things that weren't brought to light up to the surface, and I wanted a safe way for people to talk about those really hard things with disabilities. So at the time, I mainly put myself in those situations where people didn't have a voice.
Yeah. Okay, I love that. So that definitely is going into the photographs, because it's interesting that you went into Forest Haven and photographed it, because I always say when I ghost hunt, I use the paranormal as a storytelling device, because it's literally the best storytelling device. It gets people engaged with history, and it also makes people remember the history, because a lot of these places, I've bitched about Penhurst, I cannot tell you how many times, which is outside Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And it's the history there is that a lot of intellectually disabled people were like physically and like abused there.
Yeah.
And it's like
And
that
some
energy is still there.
Yeah,
and you're
some
telling
pe-
that.
Yeah, and some people were even locked away just for like moderate disabilities. I mean, when I was in Forest Haven, I don't have a picture of this because I thought it was a little disrespectful to put it in the show. But there is an office in Forest Haven that has all of the medical records scattered everywhere.
See, and that's what I'm like. I've been in places that have very similar stuff, and I'm like, this is people's like, and I've actually looked at some of it, and you're like, you'll see socials and stuff. I mean, most of the people are dead because they're from like the 30s and 40s, but still, I'm like, this is violating some type of HIPAA law. Like, there's something with it.
Yeah, I mean, like, you could literally pick up these like piles of like stacks of paper and like looking through them. I mean, some of them were like really young, like a lot of the ones that I saw were like young boys around like 13, like maybe 15. I mean, put in these places just for having ADHD.
Yeah.
you
Oh,
know?
totally. And a lot of people, like, there's other people that were institutionalized for being gay,
Yeah.
for being like, I don't know, just being different, having a learning disability, all this stuff. And it's like stuff where it's like, they're not like in a psychosis. They're not a danger to themselves or others. They just are different, and you're locking them away in an insane asylum.
Yeah, just
Or people
for,
that are addicted to drugs, have trauma, all that shit. So
yeah, or like a birth defect, or just like literally any little thing got you sent to these awful places.
How many have you been to? Because I know
I've been to I've been to a lot.
And you were there more urban exploring?
Yeah,
Okay.
I was just like exploring, taking pictures.
Okay.
And I never had an experience until Forest Haven.
Okay. So what other ones have you been to?
I've been to
A lot of my listeners, they're very familiar with all these places for ghost hunting, but there's the other photography side to it.
Yeah, I've been to the all boys penitentiary. Let me see if I can remember. I actually went to that one with my dad. What was it? It was the old Hickey before it like completely got abandoned. My dad took me there. Fun fact, like when we were there, it was really interesting because some of the lights were still on in the building, which it was completely abandoned. So like,
that's shocking because I can't tell you how many places I've been where it's completely there are no lights.
Yeah, the lights were like on in certain rooms, which me and my dad were like, we gotta get out of here.
That's kind of eerie, but I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Like you can hear like the hum of the building in some of these places.
Oh, I love it. Have you been to, there's one in, I think, Crownsville. There's an asylum. I haven't been to it. Most of the places I've been to are out of state. Yeah. And there's that one. There's
I've been
one
to a
in
lot in Baltimore.
Oh, there's some in Baltimore?
Yeah, there's another one. And me and my girlfriend at the time tried to sneak into it, but we got caught by the guard.
Oh, my God. Well.
Yeah, so we didn't make it very far, but there is another one, and I forgot where it is, but do you know, like it's like where the old battlegrounds are?
Yes.
Like, there is an old asylum around there.
Oh, well, I know Shepherd Pratt. It's still in use, but I know that building is the old asylum.
Yeah.
And that building is massively haunted.
Yeah. Well, there's a building that's completely like closed off.
Oh, man.
And it's kind of interesting because entering that space is kind of spooky in itself because there's this stairwell that kind of like goes like to the building, but it kind of cuts off and has this like plain area, and it's like you wonder like what went on. So were they like dragging kids down there? Like you just like want, it has like this really
there was a
heavy
lot of
feeling.
institutionalized abuse in these places. Like it was so normalized, and you had lobotomies. Like,
they
like
ate, they slept, they like made their clothes in these places. Like you know, in some of the places that I had been to, like they never left. Like I don't even think that they saw the light of day because they had their whole ecosystem was just around them.
And a lot of those places function like that's something that is fascinating about this stuff is like they grew their own food. They made their own electricity. They had their own water treatment. Like they were little communities because they wanted these people to be so isolated from society that they were their own functional institutions, which is like, I don't know, it's pretty fun and crazy to think about, but then
it's like you see all that when you're going into these places.
Because you think people were locked away, like they straight up, they were not going to Walmart, they were not going
they weren't
anywhere.
Shopping, they weren't doing any of that. They were making their own clothes on the grounds.
So, I mean, sometimes I'm like, it could be nice because like get locked away and just focus on art and get therapy all the time. Like that aspect is fun, but all the other parts, I'm like, we're good.
Yeah.
There's also been there's somewhere called Lethworth Village. I think I butchered that, but in New York City, or it's outside of New York and like just like north of New York City, and that place, like, it legitimately was people's homes.
Yeah.
And like you go in there and you're like, wait a minute. So
yeah.
Wait, are the dolls talking to each other? Are they talking? They are. They're very chatty today. Ooh, sorry guys, the dolls are talking. It's Halloween, sorry. But no, that's fascinating. So that's like, but it's you go in there and you actually see like, oh, people lived here and the staff lived there, and
everyone never left the grounds.
Yeah.
And it's almost like it's so like it's emotionally it's so heavy when you're walking through, and I don't know. Like I said, my last experience was literally my last experience.
Really? So, all right, let's just get into it. So, Forest Haven Asylum, is it in Laurel?
Yeah.
Okay, it's in Laurel, Maryland. I always say, like Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, Waverly Hills, Penhurst, they're like the famous ones that are always on.
This one's not as famous.
Yeah, whereas most states have this shit.
Yeah.
And our Maryland's is Forest Haven. So it's like, I don't know. It's one of my dream places. So you've actually been there. Talk about it. Because you said you had an experience there that stopped you completely from doing it.
Yes, it stopped me in my tracks. So let me begin, because this has like a whole story to it. So me and one of my best friends, Andreas, at the time, he was very like supportive of my like photographic process and stuff. And my dad couldn't go to this one, go figure. So you always use the buddy system and take a friend.
Do not go to these places alone.
That's
like Paranormal Investigating 101. Do not go alone.
Don't go alone.
Especially when you're dealing with something.
Respect the grounds.
Be
don't
ethical.
Take anything.
Don't antagonize them.
Don't antagonize. There's a whole like rules that you should
show respect.
Yeah, show respect and wear a mask, guys. These places are filled with things that you can breathe in.
Like we always make fun of Zach because he is always wearing a mask, but I'm like, he literally has lung damage from going into these places. There's asbestos, there's black mold.
Wear gloves.
Yes.
At the very, very least, please wear a mask.
Yes.
It's pretty gross in there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But it's beautiful.
Yeah, it is. So we woke up really early and I hopped in Andreas's car. I had all my batteries, everything that you would need to go to these places. And so it's really interesting. So we went to get into Forest Haven is kind of a little journey in itself.
Well, it's removed.
It's guarded.
Yeah.
So there is like guards on the ground.
Yeah, so no breaking and entering, my little darlings.
Yeah, please don't do what I did.
I'm not bailing anyone out of jail.
Yeah, please. So we entered because you have to sneak and you have to go in through the front door, through the crack, because there's a wooden like it's kind of like blocked off with wood, so you have to like make yourself small to get inside.
So if you contact will they let people come in it? Because I know Charm City Paranormal has been there and actually filmed in there. So that's why I'm like...
Yeah, I think you can contact the grounds.
Did you contact them?
I did not.
Well,
I broke in.
It happens. I've done it before. I'm not judging.
This happened when I was 19, so you can't get me now. But
exactly. That's why I'm like, I did stuff like that. I'm like...
Yeah.
I don't know, I'll casually mention it, but I'm like,
so when we entered, it was really funny because like we're hiding like in the bush.
Yeah.
And one of the guards like came around the corner in the golf cart, and we're both like this, you know, like covering our faces, like, please don't see us.
You're like,
Please
I don't want to get caught.
us.
I don't want to go to jail.
We don't want to get
God.
caught. Yeah, because we're on private property. So we decided, we tried to make a run for it, but we didn't like make it fully. So we ended up jumping into a sticker bush.
Ugh.
So I had like stickers like all over me, which
Yeah.
but I had to pretend like not like anything was going
Yeah.
on because we would have gotten caught. So then the golf cart finally drove off, and then we slipped into the door, like took like total run for it. And so we're inside, and Andreas didn't tell me this until after the fact, like we had left. And he heard a little girl's voice in his ear, and she said, wait.
Oof.
She said, wait.
Yeah.
You know?
See, this is the thing about, I always tell people with little girl voices and children spirits.
Yeah.
Yes, there are child ghosts. A lot of dark stuff will mimic kids to get in with you.
Yeah.
So like when that starts happening, I normally put the boundary right up.
Yeah, well, we didn't know that at the
Yeah.
time because we were 19.
Yeah, no, that's and also those little like boo things they have, like the EMF meters in
Yeah.
like teddy bears. Don't use them.
Yeah, okay, did not know that.
Oh yeah, that's
Noted.
something I tell people. I'm like, don't use them.
Noted. So, you know, we're exploring, I'm taking pictures, everything's like going like a normal photos would go, right? So we go upstairs in the west wing, which is right above like the dental equipment.
Oh,
So like,
Oof.
yeah, so like the dental is here, and then there's like corridors, like I guess where they used to live, because
Yeah.
there was like beds and like wheelchairs and everything. So
and I can only
Andrea-
imagine what like remove their teeth because it helps
Yeah.
psychosis or some bullshit,
Yeah,
and
or-
give them a lobotomy too.
Right? Crazy.
Yeah.
So Andreas is walking ahead of me, and the door to my right slightly cracks. And I don't think anything of it because old buildings move, they shift. Things happen like this.
And also,
all
the
time.
building is like open to the elements, so
Yeah, and it's old.
Yeah, and it rains in there, and there's like it's
so like
it's
in my head,
decaying.
I think that this is a normal situation. I don't see Andreas in my line of sight.
Yeah.
And I hear the darkest voice. It sent me like full on chills. It was this like really demonic voice, and it said, "Something's coming." I was like, Andreas, where the fuck are you? Basically, sorry, I don't know if we're allowed to cuss on this podcast.
Well, I always tell. I mean, it's already labeled explicit. Again, Joan
Yeah.
Rivers, Don Rickles, Kathy Griffin,
Yeah.
Andrew Dice Clay, trained being comedy.
So I was like,
we
where
cuss.
Like I was like, where are you?
Yeah.
And then he pops around the corner, right? And he's like, I'm right here. The door. Remember that door?
Yeah.
It slams.
Oh, Jesus.
Slams.
Oh, Jesus.
So I'm like, all right, we gotta go now. Like, we
Oof.
have to go now. So like, we're holding hands to like run down the stairwell. And as we were running down the stairwell, each door just like, it was so loud. It went boom, boom, boom. Like, it was the scariest situation I had ever been
Oh my
in.
God.
I'm running down the
Oof.
stairwell. We jumped out of a window.
Wow.
Like, we jumped out of a window because we were so scared. But I wasn't thinking ghost.
Yeah.
I was thinking guard.
Yeah.
Like, I was thinking guard is going to get me. I'm going to get arrested. This is the time I'm going to get arrested.
Yeah.
You don't think like paranormal when you're in that situation because
That's why anymore I always like the breaking and entering, because it's
Yeah.
like I want to focus solely on the ghosts, and like I find when I have that, I'm more worried about that, and it's like I
Yeah.
can't fully engage with the paranormal. So
yeah, I was not looking to engage with
Yeah.
the paranormal.
but it engaged with you.
It engaged with me. And this gets worse. So I decided to stay because we had drove all the way there.
Yeah.
And it was still early in the morning. So,
Yeah.
naturally, we made the very not great decision to stay.
Well, all right, before we go, let me put the ad break in here. All right, guys, we'll be back. All right, ad break. I gotta pay for all this damn coffee I'm drinking and tea I'm spilling. What's up, art lovers? It's me, Zenobia Darling. Did you know I'm more than just a drag rock star? I'm also a very accomplished painter, photographer, and you can check it all out on ZenobiaDarlingCreative.com. Sponsored by the Harford County Cultural Arts Board, my blog, #RockstarLife, the arts blog. It explores all my creativity right when it crashes into local culture. Explore my neo-expressionistic fine art, my editorialized goth photography, and this is the best part, you can buy my original paintings and you can spruce up your boring-ass walls, because every wall needs some glittering Zenobia Darling on them. So go check out Zenobia Darling Creative. The link is in the episode description. Ooh, what's up, Glamazons? It's Zenobia Darling, and you know my rockstar-ness doesn't just happen, right? It's crafted to perfection at Odyssey Salon and Day Spa in Aberdeen. Let me spill my secret. Abby, my badass stylist, is the mastermind behind my iconic glittering blonde mohawk. Whether you want to spike it up, smooth it out, dye it a killer shade, or just add that extra edge to your hair, the crew at Odyssey have the magic to make you feel like the superstar you truly are. And it's not just about hair. They keep my nails sharp, my skin polished, and every visit is an absolute blast. And here's the best part, my darlings. Odyssey isn't just about looking fierce. It is a safe space where us LGBT folks can feel right at home, shining as our truest selves. So if you're ready to live your own #rockstar life and embrace your creative spirit, get yourself to Odyssey Salon and Day Spa in Aberdeen. Tell them Zenobia sent you and show the world how fabulous us rock stars look. And you never know, you might run into yours truly. The link to book your visit to unlock your fabulosity is in the episode description. Hey there, ghost-loving rebels. It's Zenobia Darling, your paranormal punk rock queen. We premiered my newest art film, Ethereal Anarchy, Zenobia Darling's Haunted Revolution, on November 1st with my opening reception of my immersive art exhibition, The Paranormal Realm Beyond the Lore. Let me tell you, Part 1 of this film captured one of the most profound paranormal experiences I've ever had, and it was met with roaring applause and accolades. And yes, we filmed it in true punk rock fashion to bring you even more content. But Huns, the revolution is just getting started, and we need you to bring Part 2 to life. We have so much more content from Part 1 that we want to include, plus we're actively filming for Part 2. So we're pushing paranormal storytelling to the edge in true aspirational punk rock fashion. Your support fuels every haunting moment of this journey. From ghost hunting gear to fair crew pay, every dollar you contribute keeps things spooky and queer just the way it should be. Join the Haunted Revolution. You can find the link to our GoFundMe in the episode description and help us raise the dead and the funds. Okay, we're back.
Okay.
Sorry, the dolls are talking, so all right, keep going.
All right. Yep. So continuing on this story. So we go into the children's center. This is like the next part.
Oh, that's like the dark place.
Yeah, we go into the children's center, like where all the cribs are and everything. Mm-hmm. So we go into the basement of the children's center, and this is actually a photo that's in the show currently right now.
Which one?
It's the one with the really dark hallway.
Oh, so they're back there because those three. I mean, there's stuff in these, but like the three in the very back hung have actual like paranormal stuff in them.
Yes, they do. And so this is a fun story, I guess. So we're in the children's wing and we decide to go to the basement. Great idea, right? So we're photographing in the basement and my camera completely malfunctions. It just goes from completely full battery to red. Yeah. It just won't turn on. I tried to change the battery, it wouldn't turn on. And I was trying to I was clicking the clicker and the fun thing, I guess, about that is the clicker was still kind of working. So I was like, okay. So I was just trying to get it to work.
Yeah. It's weird that did it drain your battery?
It drained it. But here's the crazy thing about all of this. Here's the crazy thing. So we walk back up, to I guess not surface level, but where we can actually get out of the building. And my camera came back on. It was nothing happened.
I love it.
Yeah, it came back on. And one would think that you would leave at this point. No.
See, with me, I'd be like, let's keep going. The
So we
ghosts are
kept going.
talking.
So we kept going, and the last thing that happened in Forest Haven that I don't have the picture in the show, but
So you had your camera out photographing this entire time?
this entire time. Yeah. I wish I would have showed you the bell, because the bell is interesting. If I can find a picture of the bell, I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
But this bell, it was in the gymnasium, and it was on the floor, and you could pick it up. Like, literally, it wasn't connected to anything. And it rang. It rang. And it was the most haunting sound you will ever hear. It literally went dum, 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 dum. We both heard it. We both heard it.
And it's not just a ringing. It's like it did a tune.
It did a tune. Andreas took off. He left me in the dust. He ran. And
that's when you know someone's scared. You're like, really?
He was so scared. And then I don't know why I didn't run. I froze. Like I looked like a bird. Like my hands were out, and I like squatted for some reason.
You're like, oh my God.
I was so scared. And then Andreas came back for me. He was like, "Are you all right?" And I was like, "I don't know." I don't know.
You're like, well.
So then we left.
Yeah. So
that was like the final
how long
straw.
were you in there? Like a total?
I want to say that we probably were in there for a total of, I want to say 5 hours.
Okay.
Like we were like exploring the grounds.
Okay.
Because it's a big place.
Yeah.
There's we didn't even get to all of it. Like
Yeah.
there was a church that we didn't even explore.
Oof. Oof. Churches in those places are
graveyard.
so like, the energy in there, it's weird. It's always the darkest places in there. Like people think it's the morgue. I'm like, no, if there's like a chapel, a church, that's where the darkness is for some reason.
And there's a graveyard on the grounds too, which is crazy.
Oh.
I didn't go and visit the graveyard because after that last
it's
experience,
outside. You're like already dodging the guards.
Yeah, so we were like, we're not.
Yeah.
We're not going there. There's also like little I guess like little like cabins that are like little trailers I guess the workers would stay in.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, so you're like, you put these narratives in your head. You're like, what was going on in this building? Fast forward to when I came home from that situation. I was so scared. I didn't pick up my camera for a long time. I felt like the people on the grounds couldn't leave, and I was very like happy to leave, and I felt like whatever was there, I carried that energy home with me, which was a really interesting experience for me because I explored a lot of buildings, guys, so I don't know why this one affected me so much, but I was so scared. I was having nightmares every night of my shoes would be left in the building.
Well, I mean, it's so ironic because one of the pictures is shoes.
Yeah, well, yeah, one of the...
Oh, man.
I'll swing back to the shoe picture.
Yeah.
But I would have dreams of, like, me leaving my boots in the building, and then in my dream, I would have to, like, go back and get the boots, and then I would open the door, and then, like, it was, like... It went back to its running halls, like it was like squeaky clean, like in my vision, my night vision of what it was. I was so scared that I was telling my parents to like get a priest because I just kept having these nightmares, like the same reoccurring nightmare, and I don't.
So something like attached and followed you home.
Yeah.
Oof.
And had some sort of, I guess, trauma.
Yeah.
About maybe leaving their
when you left, did you like close the boundary or like say goodbye or anything like that?
Maybe I didn't.
Okay.
I was also 19, so
didn't. It happens. But I mean, you learn from these experiences.
Yeah. Always say goodbye.
Yeah, always say goodbye, always close a session and set your boundaries. And
set your intentions. I always like thought I set my intentions because whenever I did enter a space, I would be like, hi, like I'm not here to harm you, hurt you. I just want to document and try to help maybe shed a light on your story. I would say that out loud wherever I went. But I guess like maybe somebody's presence like just really didn't want me there.
Yeah. Or they might have liked you and thought you could help them.
Yeah. But it was really terrifying. It was
Do you still
scary.
have issues from it? Do you still have nightmares? Do you still feel like there's something from that experience?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think whatever was there
Yeah.
have left,
Good.
which I'm very happy about.
Hopefully they moved on.
I'm
Hopefully they
hoping so.
crossed over.
I'm really hoping they crossed
Yeah.
over. But it was really terrifying.
Yeah.
And it changed my whole outlook on the paranormal realm.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
Oof. So were you a believer? You said you were a believer in the paranormal before this, right?
yeah, I like lightly believed.
Okay.
You know, like I never really had anything like happen to me,
Mm-hmm.
but it was always like I was aware that
Yeah.
it was there, but they didn't really bother me
Mm-hmm.
until that experience.
Whew. I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. So let's get to the shoes, because that's one of the most haunting pictures. It reminds me of like a concentration camp, or like Bergen-Belsen, or like Auschwitz,
Yeah.
or something like that. Like it has that feel to it with the shoes, and it's creepy, but it's like also just fucking amazing.
Yeah, that was actually taken in Forest Haven,
Mm-hmm.
right near the children's wing. And
Ooh.
yeah, so those are little kids' shoes. Like they're tiny. They look big on the
That's-
screen, but they're
ooh.
really small.
I'll make it the cover art of this episode so you guys
Yeah.
can see it. But ooh, that's like, ooh.
Yeah, like a lot of heavy energy
Yeah.
near those shoes. I've had people ask me, they're like, "Oh, did you set those shoes up like that?" And I was like, "No." Like
God,
they
'cause
were
they're-
like
ooh,
that.
that's so oof.
Yeah.
Oof. So when you were photographing, because you captured something in one of the, like, clear as day in one of the photos. Were
Yeah.
you picking up on that stuff when you were photographing it?
No.
Or
No,
okay.
like absolutely not, because I had never, like I said, like I haven't. No one really bugged me
Yeah.
before,
Oof.
so it was like I feel very lucky to have catched these little spirits in
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
some of my pictures. And it's funny because I didn't even know that they were there until I was sending stuff to Nicole.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my
Because you were
God.
one of the first artists we got stuff, and like,
Yeah.
and I kept looking at the photos, and it also helped me kind of design the layout and like the paint walls, because I wanted it to have that haunted abandoned asylum feel.
Yeah.
And then I was like, wait a minute, these photos are legitimately it. And I was like, Nicole, they see this texture, this is what we need to do. Like, and then it's like, that's how we built it. Cause like the art exhibition set up like a haunted abandoned asylum that we rave in.
Yeah.
So it's like in a pop-up art exhibition. So we were watching or like looking at it, and I was like going through it because I'm really good at getting evidence and like reviewing it. I'm like, there's
Yeah.
something here. And then there's something in like two of the other ones too.
Yeah. You pointed that out to me today,
Yeah.
which was insane. I was like, oh my God, there is something there.
No, it's crazy. It's like pretty, it's like wild. I love it. So
Yeah. Well, thank you.
yeah.
I like that to me.
So you work at, are you cool with me talking about MICA?
Yeah, I'm totally
so
cool
you
with
work
you
at
talking
MICA,
about
which is
MICA.
the Maryland, what is it?
Maryland Institute College of Art.
Yes, in Baltimore. Massively haunted campus. Another, like, we've talked about CCBC being haunted. We're at CCBC.
Oh,
Everyone
MICA
knows.
is definitely haunted.
Yeah, I know. I was there. This was like 10 years ago. One of my friends went there for fiber art or something, and I was modeling something in that station building next to the train, which I love trains. So like, I was more excited about that.
Yeah.
But I was like, this place has some activity. So
Yeah.
you told me you experienced stuff. So
Yeah, you want me to talk about
oh
that?
yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
So when I was first working at MICA, I worked the night shift, and I was just like a little what was it? I guess like I was a lab tech at the time. And this was when I was first working there, and it was around like this time of year. And
Well, this is when the veil's the thinnest.
yeah, so it was around this time of year, and I remember I had locked all the rooms, like especially the room next to my office. I turned off all the computers and everything. So I thought everyone was out of the room, you know? So I went down the hallway and I locked both of the dark rooms. We cleaned them up, everything, locked those doors, and then I heard laughter.
Oof.
Like straight laughter. And I was the only one in the building. Like my work study went home. I was the only one there.
Oh, God.
And I was thinking in my head, I was like, oh my God, those kids how did they sneak back in there? Because sometimes, like, you know, if doors aren't locked all the way, like, students will think that it's still open and still congregate, even though they should be home sleeping. But they're art students, so they never sleep.
I understand that. I understand that.
Yeah. So I was like, how the hell did they get back in there? And I'm just hearing this, like, laughter. Like, they're just having a good old time in there. So I'm, like, walking down the hallway, like, oh, my God, I have to get these students out again. And I open the door. There's no one there.
Good Lord.
There's, like, it was silence. Like, nothing was there. But I do have to say, at least they were happy.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I was telling you this
happy.
before. I would not, if I was a ghost, I would not go back to college. I would not go back to high school. I would be like.
Well, maybe it was their happy place.
That is very true.
Know?
That is very true. They probably were creative.
Yeah, like, the photo department is a very, like, loving and happy place. I mean, I can't blame them for wanting to come back. That's very true.
And if they're passionate about that, then that is their happy place. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. All right, so wrapping up, I don't know, this whole thing has been really fun. This is my first, like, live podcast like this, so, like, this is pretty fun.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun.
Yeah, so
I would love to come back.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So I always wrap up with self-care. So I think self-care is important. What do you do? Because I know you have an artistic practice, you have a day job. What do you do? Like, it's a Sunday, you got nothing to do. What are you doing to, like, feel joy and, like, take care of yourself?
Ooh, that's a good question. If it's a Sunday, I'll put in a hair mask.
Ooh, what brand do you use, or what mask do you use?
Oh, it's this it's this one brand. Hold on, I gotta look at it.
No, you're
it's
good.
Zirconia.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, it's a all Latino, like, brand, like, owned brand. So it's the best stuff I had ever used.
Yeah.
It smells so good, and I'll just, like, leave that in while I'm in the shower, and then I use what is it? It's you have me thinking.
I sprung this on you.
Yeah.
I asked someone that we were like I was podcasting, the episode won't be out because I scrapped it, but I was interviewing someone back in September, and at the end I asked them self-care questions, and they're like an older person, and they kind of were like, why are you asking me this?
Oh, no, I love this question.
And I was like,
question.
And so I
also love using Angels on Bare Skin by Lush. It's like one of my,
Lush is the best.
Yeah.
Their cup of coffee.
Need a good reset.
Yes, their cup of coffee is the best. Like, it's a good body scrub. It's a good face scrub.
Yeah, I like to just, like, treat myself very, like, naturally on the weekends. I like.
Do you watch any reality television?
Sometimes.
What's your favorites?
Yeah. Ooh.
Because I always say I theatrically study reality television, so, like, Real Housewives is, like, my jam. Vanderpump Rules is the best show ever made.
Yeah.
But
I do have, like, I don't know. I do like watching Real Housewives sometimes. When my mom has the Kardashians on, I'll, like, watch it with her. Okay,
because I'm so happy you brought up Kardashians, because most people nowadays don't really engage with them.
Yeah.
I hate the new show. It's not doing it for me, and they keep editing Courtney to be a nice person, and she's, like, a full-blown sociopath, allegedly.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know. But even, like, the old school E! Show, it's still delivered towards the end. Like, when you saw Kim and Courtney get into a physical brawl, I was like, this is what I want. I'm like, this is real, and they're actually fighting about being on the show.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. So you said you watch Housewives. What franchise do you love?
Whatever my mom has on.
Okay.
Like, I just like whatever she's watching.
So who are, like, your favorite housewives?
Ooh, I don't know their names.
Okay. What do they look like?
I'm not that invested.
I hear that. I always say Real Housewives is like modern day soap opera, so you can kind of, like, lean in, lean out. So.
Yeah. I don't know, the blonde. There's, like, a blonde on there that's, like, really extra. I don't know. My mom, like.
Is it Beverly Hills?
I think so.
Is it Dorit or Erica Jane?
I think it's Erica Jane.
God.
I think it is. I don't know. I just, like, chime in whenever my
Erica
mom's
Jane's
watching.
a mess. She's such a mess.
Yeah. Like, me and my mom like to watch trash TV together. Like, we watch Teen Mom and...
I could go on about Teen Mom.
Yeah.
I will never forget when Janelle got arrested going to a Kesha concert.
That was so real.
Like, it's one of those things where I'm like, and she's like, I need to see Kesha. She understands me, and I'm
I
like,
remember
what
that
the
episode.
fuck? Like,
Yeah.
Trishelle, she's so trashy. She's still to this day trash.
I know. That's so sad.
Oh my god! So did you watch The Real World or anything like that?
No, I did not.
Okay.
But I did watch the Jersey Shore. Like,
Well.
I think we all did.
I do get down with that.
Yeah. I don't know. There's this show that I've been into recently. It's not like reality TV, but it's on Apple TV. It's called The Servant. I don't know if you've
I've heard of it.
It's so good.
Is it good? What's it about?
It's so good. It's about this couple that lives in New York, and the main character, her name is Dorothy, and she's like this newscaster. So like there's a narrative that goes on there, but then like the main narrative is like their baby had passed tragically, and you don't really find out what happens to the baby until like episode 3, and I don't want to give away any like spoilers.
Oof.
But then you have this nanny that comes in to take care of this fake baby because she lost the baby tragically.
Yeah.
So in replace to that, they're using doll therapy to kind of like bring her like consciousness back because she doesn't necessarily remember what happened to the real baby.
Oh my
So
gosh.
she's like thinking this fake baby is real the entire time. So they hire a nanny to kind of take care of the fake baby when Dorothy isn't there, and it gets wild. You know, it's
How ironic, because we got all the haunted dolls and shit,
Yeah.
and then we do this. So, oof.
yeah, you should definitely
That's
watch that show.
amazing.
It's awesome.
Okay, so where can my little darlings find you? Do you have a website? Do you have social media?
You guys can find me on Instagram.
Okay.
There's nothing on it right now, but I will be uploading.
Upload some of these photos.
Yeah. Okay. I definitely will.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's Ashley _page. And
Okay.
then like, I guess there's like more underscores. But I'll give you the link if you like.
Yeah,
wanna
I'll put it in
it
the
on
episode
there.
description. So,
Yeah.
all right, guys. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Yes.
Thank you so much for listening.
All right, beaming back up. Bye, guys.
Bye.